I'm Erica Keller. I'm a graduate student at Fort Hays State University, and I'm getting my master's in library media specialist. So, today I'm supposed to just talk to you about how my practicum experience went. So, I'm going to start from the beginning. So, I'm a teacher at Queller University in Lawrence. I'm a third grade teacher. So, I knew that I wanted to do my practicum mostly there. I'd heard about the hours, so that's where I focused most of my energy on was, okay, how do I get my hours? What I didn't realize was all the assignments that would come with it. So that was a little tricky. I was able to work with Jenny Gorup, my mentor, and she helped me go through the standards log and piece everything together. So I also used her help to find librarians I should work with because I needed the high school and the middle school, and I didn't know anyone. So one of the tricky things was that at my school, at my district, we only get 80 hours or 10 days of personal leave, and I needed 90. So trying to figure out how to do it, and luckily I knew that I was going to do some of the hours with Jenny, even my flex hours. So I just had to figure out, okay, how do I get the middle school and high school hours in without using a lot of my leave time and getting subs and things like that because we're getting into state testing and whatnot, and we had spring break. And so I figured out that we had a couple, like a recording and reporting day, and we had the day after we had done conferences. And luckily, the high school and middle school are on different schedules than us because they're on quarters and we're on trimesters. So I was able to go during a recording and reporting day, and then also on my day off um, to the middle school. So I went to a high school one week and then the middle school the next week. And then I still needed more, so I took spring break, which luckily we were at the beginning of March, really early, and DeSoto didn't have spring break. So I did 2 days at the middle school and 2 days at the high school there. So while I was at the high school in Lawrence, at the very end of January or beginning of February, she's new to the district. So what I learned, she's been a librarian, but she's still learning how to um, collaborate and get to know all the teachers. And also, they're going through a major renovation there. So she's also just trying to get everything prepared because she's going to genreify her library as they move everything around. So it was a little different there. We did a lot of computer questions. It wasn't as much about books and even research. So that was a little interesting, different. And also, we spent the morning or a couple hours in the morning together touring the IRC, which is our resource center within the district. So that was nice to see what all was there and what they housed for the library, like the book sets and such. Um, the next week, I went to the middle school, and that was really fun. And she was really adamant about taking a plan time and taking a lunch, which, other librarians that I would end up seeing weren't as adamant. She also taught a class during the day, advisory, which is kind of like not really a study hall, but more like morning meeting, but it's right in the middle of the day. So I got to help with that. She also had an ELA class that came in, and she was doing William Allen White with them. We also did just we put books away, and I helped with the 300s and doing some weeding. So that was really interesting because we looked at the books, and her philosophy was that she would much rather have a really good library, like really concise books, than having a ton of books. So we were able to weed out some that were way outdated or not culturally relevant and representative, which is a big push in our district. Then I continued to kind of work a little bit at the elementary library. I talked with my librarian all the time. I was doing things for her, whether it be like resources on my computer or helping her with putting labels. And so I'd work a little bit, but I didn't get to work with her as much, like shadowing her. Um, And then spring break happened, and I got to go to the middle school in DeSoto. And DeSoto was an amazing experience because Lawrence were kind of spoiled being bigger. So we had we have a lot of people that, like, we have aides, and we have people that put the stickers on the books and put them in our records and whatnot. Whereas the librarians there had to do all of it, and a lot of them didn't have aides, and so it was really interesting to see that. And the first librarian was a newer librarian, so she'd only been in the library for 2 years, and then the other one had been the high school librarian, had been there for 20 years. So you could see kind of the difference, but you could also see they collaborated a lot together. So that was really nice, where I don't see that as much when you're at a bigger school or a bigger district. Um, then we hit spring break, and before I left for spring break, we'd heard of COVID and we'd heard of the coronavirus and everything. And then when I worked Monday and Tuesday at the middle school, we were thinking spring break. Like, they were taught, the kids were turning in their third quarter um, assignments. We had just nothing. And then Wednesday happened, and I was at the high school, and we talked a little bit, like at lunch, just about the coronavirus. And then I was supposed to go Thursday, but we decided that there was an event she wanted me to see on Friday. So I went on Friday instead. And I'm really happy because Thursday I went and did all the grocery store shopping because of everything. And then Friday, all of a sudden, um, I'm waiting for a call to see if my district's going to suspend. DeSoto had a bunch of kids that were really sad on Friday because they had canceled their band spring break trip. And so all this stuff really happened fast, but I was still talking with um, the librarian at DeSoto that I was going to try and come in late March. And then that evening, we got the call in my district that we were um, going to be delayed for 2 weeks. And by Monday, it changed when the governor said that we were done for the year. Not done, but in person school. And so I was getting inundated with emails from my district trying to figure out what's going on. The plan, our district went a lot slower as far as like getting things out to kids. We really wanted to focus on social and emotional. So we didn't even start teaching until like April 6th. And then I'm getting stuff from grad school, like, how do we finish this up and everything. So I ended up having to replan a lot of the stuff I was planning on doing for my lessons with students and such at the elementary level. So I kind of missed out on that. But luckily, a lot of the ones that we were planning on me doing it during my extra plan, which happens to be when my kids have libraries. So I still got to work with my kids, and I realized that um, even more, and Jenny Gorup had told me this, that the library is much more than just the four walls. So really being able to stress the use of materials. At first, there was a ton of questions about copyright, and then copyright started changing. And so it was a very interesting time to work with books and resources when we're trying to get everything digital. Our librarians also focus a lot on technology, but they more are just, they check it out and they'll put it to the work orders of the tech people, but they don't actually do any of the tech stuff. So we didn't have to work on like dispersing them or anything. That was taken care of at the district level. So then we get to after spring break, and we are now digital continuous learning. And I am a mom of a 4-year-old, and my husband works from home. We own a business together. So honestly, at first, it was hard. It was so hard trying to figure out, like, trying to explain it to a 4-year-old, but also trying to find our new routine. And since like the district was getting slower with, taking things slow, which honestly love it now. But I was kind of at a crossroads and I didn't know what I was doing. So I would say the first couple of weeks after spring break, it was really hard. So, um, to like, what was I doing? To be able to work. Um, I'm surprised I don't have my son here in this video because I will tell you he is in several of my other videos that I've made. Um, but then things got back and we started school. So I really did have to kick in high gear and getting it done. So uh, it was a very unique experience. Um, I never thought I'd want like middle or high school, but now I wouldn't really mind maybe a middle or high school position. I think it could be kind of fun and different. Elementary and picture books are still kind of my heart. But I will say, even if I don't get a library job, um, just the experience and also understanding more about what the librarian does, but also about books in general and research and tools. It's making me a better teacher. So um, I will say it definitely has helped when we've gone digital right now and understanding these things. So and making lots of videos. So um, it's been a great experience, and but I am very happy that I'm finally graduating. Can I get back to a new normal? So thank you for this experience.